Hey everyone, it's Allie and welcome back to my channel. So today I have a really exciting review for you guys. I'm going to be going over the fragrances I purchased from Terence Hughes. If you don't know who he is a YouTuber and perfumer from the UK. I absolutely love him. I remember first seeing him on, I think it was Fragmental's channel a while back. He would go on there and talk about scents with him and review sort of some of his favorite scents. And I remember really being intrigued by his energy and his aura and just the way he talks and the way he moves. He's very much a expressive person, and I absolutely love that about him. The energy he exudes is the same energy that I feel in myself sometimes, which really led me to be like, I need to experience his fragrances. I feel like we would have a lot in common as far as fragrances goes, and he did not disappoint. I have 5 options here from his range that he launched, and I'm super excited to talk about these. And we're gonna get started with the first one, and that is, I don't know if I can say this on YouTube, but it's Dirty SLUT. So, And this is so good. So this has notes of neroli, sweet orange, lemon, petitgrain, jasmine sambac, patchouli, leather, amber. You've got ethical ambergris, which is really, really good for people that are more on the vegan side of things, musk, and filth. Now, I'm not sure what exactly this filth note is. I have some inclination to what it is, and I will get a little bit more into which fragrance I think is a really filthy fragrance. But this one is really, really pretty. It's not what I was expecting with a name like Dirty SLUT. But it's really, really nice. You get this burst of neroli. So this is definitely neroli heavy. You do get a slight orange note. I don't get too much of the lemon. I feel like the lemon amplifies the orange and the neroli more than anything. And you get a beautiful petitgrain note. Petitgrain is kind of woody but citrusy at the same time. It's like the bark of a citrus tree. It's absolutely stunning. This is a beast fragrance. When I wore this to work, I was working inside of a boat cabin, and one of the girls was outside of the boat cabin, and I was wearing it, and she had opened the door to it, and she was immediately like, "What are you wearing? This entire cabin smells like whatever you have on." And I was wearing Dirty SLUT. I'm just gonna say, Dirty Slut. I was wearing Dirty Slut. And she was like, "It smells so nice and so pretty in here. Like, what the hell?" I will say it opens up, like I said, very citrusy, heavy on the neroli, heavy on the petitgrain as well, because there's this undertone woody facet, but there's also this clean facet to it as well that is coming from the jasmine. The patchouli gives this fragrance strength. It's not overly patchouli heavy, but it definitely carries its own weight. It projects like a beast everywhere I went. I was leaving a nice trail. The amber adds a little bit of warmth and a little bit of depth to the fragrance. And so does the ambergris. The ambergris adds this kind of salty effect, and it's also a very musky fragrance. It's kind of musky, it's citrusy, it's a little woody. It's very, very pretty. But this does, to me, go down the line of a Carolina Good Girl scent, where that scent is feminine but yet has this really masculine edge because it has this cologne-y feel to it. This fragrance has that same effect. It feels like it could be a feminine fragrance, but it has this masculine edge, making it a very interesting unisex fragrance. Because in the deep dry down, it does come off very cologne-y on my skin. And I think it's the addition of the ambergris with that filth note in this that makes it sort of masculine, edgy. So I feel like a woman could easily rock this if she's comfortable with that sort of unisex edge, or a man could rock this as well. I feel like this is totally unisex. I don't feel like this one has any gender to it. Anybody could wear Dirty Slut. It's just really bright, it's uplifting, it's very pretty, it's very strong. For a citrusy based fragrance, This performs like a monster. And you don't really get that with a lot of citrus fragrances, which I really do enjoy. I really wanted to get the original Slut, but it had sold out before I could get my hands on it. I was super bummed out about that, but you know what? It's okay because I will probably pick it up at some point once it comes back in stock. I did get these all on Max Aroma. He is partnering with Max Aroma to bring the fragrances to the States because he only ships, I think, in the US or in the UK, unless he's like promoting a special or something like that. But he did partner with Max Aroma, the website. So if you're interested in a sense, I definitely suggest checking them out on Max Aroma. And yeah, like, superb. This is so good. I absolutely loved it. I love the edge it has. I love everything about it. The sort of like clean, citrusy, woody facets as well. And this sort of dirtiness that it has, this underlying filth note, which I feel like a lot of his fragrances have this commonality to them, like this sort of base, sort of like Chanel, how you can tell a Chanel fragrance because there's something in the base that ties all the fragrances together. He has that in his fragrances, which I really do enjoy and appreciate because they all have a commonality to them. And it's sort of like this dry sweetness that's never overtly sweet, but enough to satisfy people who love sweetness in their fragrances. And yeah, it's so good. And it's going to be good for people who don't like sweetness in their fragrances. It's just enough to be like, oh, it's not a sweet fragrance, but it has some sweetness to it. And for those who love it, it's like, oh, it has sweetness, but it's not overtly sweet. So either way, it's a win-win in my opinion. I really did enjoy this one and it was really good. The next one that I'm going to talk about is Blood Orange. This one retails about $180, I believe. And this one is absolutely beautiful as well. Immediately you get a bright burst of blood orange and mandarin with some tangerine. It's very natural smelling in my opinion. It's very bright. It's got jasmine chambec in it. It's got musk, amber, sandalwood, and ethical ambergris as well. So it has this sort of underlying, sort of leathery, very light leathery, mostly salty effect because of the ambergris. It's really beautiful. There's a slight greenness to it that I get from it. I'm not sure where the greenness is coming from. There is also a woody facet to this as well, probably coming from the sandalwood. But it's so pretty, absolutely unisex. This has that same quality where it's a sort of dry sweetness, so it's not overtly sweet, but it has a taste of sweetness. But you get this juicy sort of citrusy, almost orangey effect from it. So where Dirty Slut is more of a neroli heavy, so more lemony, this is more orangey in my opinion because of the blood orange, the mandarin, and the tangerine working in tandem in this fragrance to create a sort of orangey effect. It's really pretty. I absolutely love it. It's very unique, and for another citrus fragrance, this is extremely long lasting on the skin. With all of these fragrances, I got 8+ hours, which was amazing. I wasn't expecting it. The last one that I'm going to talk about was my ultimate favorite fragrance in this line, and it's so good, and I have some serious thoughts about that one, but this one was definitely really beautiful. There's not much change through this one. It's kind of linear in a way. It opens up citrusy with some wood and a slight greenness that I'm not sure what the greenness is coming from, with this sort of salty effect. And that's pretty much what you get throughout the wear of the fragrance. It's absolutely beautiful. This is going to be amazing in hot weather now that we're coming into summer. This could be amazing for clubbing. I can see this like filling up a room at a club as you heat up and dance. Same with Dirty Slut. It is a very heat up and like project fragrance. The hotter you get, the more it projects. And in my job, I'm constantly going and moving from one boat to another. And I heat up really quickly, and the shop that I work in gets really hot. I do a lot of manual labor, so for me, these two were amazing because I did wear them to work, and they definitely projected and they definitely carried their own weight. And that's amazing for a citrus fragrance because citruses are very fleeting, especially on my skin, and I think on most people's skins as well. And I really enjoy that you can kind of hold them from the cap. You have to be careful, but you can hold them from the cap. You don't want to get crazy now. Don't be like me and be stupid. Don't do that. Don't shake it around and loosen it. But you could definitely hold it from the cap if you wanted to. But the next one that I'm going to talk about is called Violet Delirium. And this one was a really interesting one. I will say this does remind me sort of Baccarat Rouge 540 in a way. I feel like if Baccarat Rouge had a triple X flanker, like a dirty version flanker of itself, Violet Delirium by Terence Hughes would be it. It is dirty smelling, and when I wore this to work, the guys at work were immediately like, you smell really good. But the girls at work, or I should say the girl at work, was like, you smell interesting. And usually when she says interesting, I know that it's probably not up her alley. So I asked her what it was that she smelt. And she was like, you smell like a condom. And I know that's weird, but when you spray this, the initial opening is a very latexy smelling. It goes down, like I said, that route of Baccarat Rouge 540, where it has this sort of latexy opening to some people, but it's very light to me. I can see where they're going with it, where they pick up this sort of latexy vibe, but this is that vibe on steroids. And they share similar accords. They share the saffron, they share the jasmine, and they share, I think that's it. They share saffron and jasmine as far as like the notes go from Baccarat Rouge in this one. But this has a very prominent latexy vibe. The girl at work said I smelled like I had just had SEX, and it was very clean SEX, and she could still smell that sort of smell on me. So it was kind of like a dirty, filthy type smell, but this has notes of saffron accord, jasmine chambec absolute, rose absolute. It has a chocolate accord, Thai oud, Burmese oud, musk, animal notes, and it has that filth note, which I think the filth note is what makes it smell sort of erotic and sexual, because this was sort of an erotic sexual sort of fragrance. It invoked a certain eroticism in the men at work, and it kind of like made the girl at work do a double take and be like, I don't know about that one. You smell like you just did the deed. You got to know someone in the biblical sense, if you know what I mean. Like, it gave off that sort of effect. I will say, even though it has this very prominent latex note in the opening, it does eventually die down, but it takes quite a while for this one to die down. It took about 3 hours for it to die down, and it became a sort of sweet fragrance with some floral facets. And I can almost pick up the chocolate, but it was very, very light. This opens up very latexy smelling, I feel like, because of that Thai oud mixing in with the saffron and those animal notes and the filth. So I think that's why you get this sort of prominent latexy vibe. But as it dries down, it does become softer. It does become more pretty. It does become quite addictive. I did really find myself sniffing my arm a lot in the dry down as these floral components started to show. And it was really, really pretty. And I thought it was just so weird, because after I got told I smelled like a condom, I was sort of like, oh gosh, I smell it now. That's all I can smell. I was immediately thinking like bondage latex, and then like the condom thing came into play, and I was like, that's what I smell like. But it's actually quite beautiful. I love the progression of the fragrance, where it smells a very in your face, very bold, very latexy. And it starts becoming softer, prettier, kind of sweet and addictive. It's very, very interesting, and I really did enjoy that one, even though it was the oddball in the bunch that I had here. But like I said, fragrance is subjective. You might really enjoy that. I enjoyed it, but it's all a preference thing. The next one that I'm going to talk about is one that I was super excited about. This one is called Boss, B-I-T-C-H, so Boss Bitch. And this is really, really cool. I really enjoyed this fragrance as well. It's not your typical everyday fragrance. This is a fragrance that commands the attention of the room. This is bold, this is powerful, this is beautiful. You've got notes of neroli, coconut, peach cherry chocolate, jasmine shambak, you've got sandalwood, you have Thai oud, Burmese oud, you have Indonesian oud, you have patchouli, and you also have a special kind of oud that takes a month for him to harvest to create this fragrance because it involves heat and light frequencies in order to extract it. So it is a special kind of oud, and he doesn't create this fragrance that often, and when he does, it's in limited quantities because of the process of having to extract this special oud, which I really did enjoy. And this was one of the ones that I was like ecstatic to try to get my hands on, and I snatched it up the second I could. Right off the bat, you definitely get an explosion of all these ouds. There's like 4 different ouds in this thing, and they are just bam in your face. They are strong, they are unapologetic. It is very oudy. If you're not familiar with oud, I would probably suggest sampling this if you could find a sample of it. But it is very, very prominent. So you have to be comfortable with a very prominent, sharp, yet somehow smooth oud, because it's sharp and in your face, but it's very smooth compared to a lot of oud fragrances that I've put my nose to over the years. I almost wanted to sneeze, but I was like, hold it back, girl, hold it back. I definitely get this like coconuttiness with this cherry chocolate vibe. It's very pretty. It almost gives off like a soft, powdery effect on the skin. I don't get too much of the neroli. I feel like the neroli is there, but it's not really ever there. My nose can't really pick it up in this fragrance in particular. I pick up a lot on the oud, especially in the opening. As it dries down, it becomes sort of coconutty, cherry chocolatey, a little powdery at the same time, with a slight floral facet, probably coming from that shambak jasmine. And it's really, really nice. It's complex, it's deep, it's rich, it's opulent, it's expensive. It's really, really beautiful, especially on the skin. As it dries down, it projects and leaves this sort of soft, beautiful, yet very bold in your face sillage. And I really did enjoy that about this. I wore this to work on a really windy day, which was yesterday. I wore this yesterday. It lasted my entire shift, and I worked from 7 to 5. Really, really beautiful. I really did enjoy this one. It is bold, like I said, it is beautiful, it is dark, it's mysterious, it's so many different things, and I really did like it. It definitely is a scent that commands the room, and I really do enjoy it for that very reason, and it is one that I will definitely keep in my collection. The last one that I'm going to talk about, and my favorite one, is one that I was super excited to try, and that one is Jasmine Narcotic. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but this is Jasmine Narcotic. And this is so freaking good, you guys. Like, oh my gosh. Okay. So what you have here is night blooming jasmine. You have a jasmine shambak accord as well. Cocaine. Suede and musk, and oh my gosh, this fragrance is what I expected Alien by Mugler to smell like before I ever put my nose to Mugler. Just by smelling the notes of Mugler's Alien, I was like, in my mind, I had this whole idea of what this was supposed to smell like, and this is what I pictured in my head. This is what I was hoping Alien by Mugler was gonna smell like. And this is so, so dang good, you guys. Oh my gosh, the quality of the jasmine in this is mind-blowingly amazing. It is sexy, it is natural. It's almost like a jammy, sort of bubblegummy jasmine note that smells so dang natural. I don't think I've ever smelled a jasmine note that smells this natural in any of my fragrances. This has quickly become my best smelling and my favorite jasmine note in fragrance. My favorite jasmine fragrance in general. I don't have anything that smells like this fragrance. It is sexy, it is bold, it is beautiful, it's so natural smelling, it's a little jammy and bubblegummy at the same time, while still being very heady and just in your face jasmine. And oh my gosh, the night blooming jasmine in this really makes the jasmine, because it smells so divine. It's so pretty. It's so floral. And it has some depth because of that suede and the musk in the base. This is what I was expecting Alien by Mugler to smell like. And what I was super disappointed that it didn't. It smells, Alien by Mugler is very synthetic smelling. It's beautiful, don't get me wrong. I do enjoy it, but it's very synthetic smelling. This is like its natural counterpart, but on another level. I don't think they could even be compared, but if I was going to compare this to anything, this is what I was expecting Alien to smell like. And I was disappointed that it didn't smell like this, and I am ultra excited that this is the way it is, because my gosh, I hope he always keeps this in his collection, because this is one that I'm going to buy a backup bottle of. It is my favorite one. It lasted forever on my skin. It was playful, it was sweet, it was extremely jasmine-y, and the quality of the jasmine in this is unsurpassed. You really can't go wrong if you're a fan of jasmine. This is the jasmine I have always dreamed of owning. And now I have it, and I couldn't be happier, and he did it such justice. I am so excited. I am so excited to try more of his line, probably with time. Like, this was a pretty big haul. Like, this was all like around a little bit more than $500, I think, and yeah, I went a little ham, but this is stellar, and I absolutely love this. And oh my gosh, you guys, if I could recommend just one from this range, this would be the number one that I recommend, followed by Boss Bitch, Dirty Slut, Blood Orange, and then Violet Delirium. I absolutely love this. And yeah, if you guys are a fan of jasmine, do yourself a favor and get this one. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, faux fi momeezy, just get it. It's so dang good, you guys. And yeah, those are all my thoughts on this fragrance range. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really enjoyed wearing these fragrances, and I'm happy they are in my collection. And yeah, if you guys want to get in contact with me, I will link my Instagram and everything down below, all my contact information. I will be hopefully doing next week my thoughts and reviews on the Jeremy fragrance women's fragrances that he launched. He did launch 2 women's fragrances, day and night for women, and I have both on the way. So they are coming, and if you are interested in that, then stay tuned till next week, because they should be coming in sometime next week. So till then, you guys, I hope this video found you well, and like I said, if you want to see this face again, like and subscribe down below. Till next time, I will see you later. Bye.